The police and first responders were incredible. The job done in particular by one young gentleman was incredible. And I got to meet him, and he was very brave.
All right, that was President-elect Donald Trump speaking earlier about the Ohio State terror attack. Meanwhile, President Obama continues to mislead you, the American public, about the rise of ISIS. Let's take a look.
The rise of the Islamic State surprised you. It took you by surprise. It took the administration by surprise.
The ability of ISIL to initiate major land offensives, that was not on my intelligence radar screen.
That's impossible. How could they not be on his radar screen? Did he not hear these dire warnings coming from America's top intelligence experts, including the director of the National Intelligence Agency, James Clapper? Watch this.
In Syria, what's going on there is in maybe some respects, a new Fatah force. And what's going on there and the attraction of these foreign fighters is very, very worrisome.
With the growth, as you pointed out, of terrorist elements in places like Syria and Yemen, we have a number of fronts that we need to confront simultaneously.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is a designated global terrorist under U.S. law, and we believe is currently based in Syria. His mission, as clearly stated in his own statements, is to carve out a zone of governing territory from Baghdad through Syria to Lebanon.
So how did the president get it so wrong? Joining me now with reaction, the author of Defeating Jihad, the Winnable War, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Let's go back to 2007. Then President George W. Bush, he warned exactly, with pinpoint accuracy, what would happen if we pulled out of Iraq too early. Listen to this, Dr. Gorka.
Begin withdrawing before our commanders tell us we are ready would be dangerous for Iraq, for the region, and for the United States. It would mean surrendering the future of Iraq to al-Qaeda. It would mean that we'd be risking mass killings on a horrific scale. It would mean we allow the terrorists to establish a safe haven in Iraq to replace the one they lost in Afghanistan. It would mean increasing the probability that American troops would have to return at some later date to confront an enemy that is even more dangerous.
Not only did they get the safe haven, but also the oil money so that they could advance the caliphate. He could have listened to any number of people, Dr. Gorka. How could he possibly say what he's saying that he didn't see it coming?
Very simply, Sean. Remember, he said in that interview that it wasn't on the radar screen for him. Well, Sean, you need to be looking at the radar screen if you're looking for threats. We know, this is publicly disclosed information, that the President of the United States, Barack Obama, received and read less than half of his presidential daily intelligence briefings. You're not going to know what's on the radar screen if you don't look at the radar.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
No. Well, as late as 2014, he referred to ISIS as the JV team. As in October of 2015, that's a year ago, a little over a year ago, he's saying that ISIS is contained. What Alice in Wonderland world is he living in?
He said ISIS is contained, and Secretary Kerry said that we are winning this war 3 days before the San Bernardino attack. That was the largest attack on U.S. soil until the Oklahoma massacre. The fact is, this administration has allowed politics to trump national security and the safety of Americans. Remember, Sean, when this senator from Illinois that nobody heard of ran for president, he had a very simple bumper sticker. He said, Afghanistan is the quote-unquote good war and Iraq is the bad war, which meant when he became president, he was locked in ideologically to ending the war in Iraq and pulling our troops out before we'd actually finished the job. He allowed his political commitment and his ideology to trump the actual execution of the mission. Because in my analysis of the history of war, you can only win by actually destroying the enemy. Removing your troops from the battlefield is not the definition of victory, but President Obama thinks it is.
Did you meet with President-elect Trump, and is there any chance you might join his administration?
I'm in regular contact with General Mike Flynn, his national security advisor. I'll be in New York later this week, but I haven't seen Mr. Trump since last year. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
All right, Dr. Gorka, I think you'd be a great addition, my humble opinion. Thank you, sir.